as we move on to game 2 of every series within some of the series we have today. First one being the Miami Heat and the Indiana Pacers. After that, we got the Houston Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Third game is between the for some reason I always forget that third game. Milwaukee Bucks and the Orlando Magic, and of course the last billing of the night, the Los Angeles Lakers and the Portland Trail Blazers. Very excited for that game. Very, very pumped up to see if the Blazers could take a 2-0 lead or will the Lakers respond to even up the series. But before we really start getting going and before I get to the promo code and everything, really quick, going to do the first segment. I always do nothing but net. Going to attack that one actually quickly this time because there is a live bet right now. So I'm going to go straight to nothing but net. No, actually not. Nothing but, nah, I don't think so. Live bet Jimmy Butler under 19.5 points on DraftKings right now with odds of minus 106. And this is why right now, if you've been watching this game at all, it started at 1 o'clock, so we're close to halftime at this point. Look, Butler is not getting too many looks right now. Duncan Robinson is on an absolute tear. I've seen Tyler Hero get involved a lot. So I'm going to actually go with the under on this live bet right now. I think those guys have the hot hands in this situation. Butler only has 4 points as of right now. So if you think about it, almost halftime, needs to have a really big second half in order to reach that total of about 20 points total. I'm not sure if that game's in the books right now. And think about it. This guy's coming off a great game where he just hit his points, rebounds, assists mark against the Indiana Pacers. That was 32.5. And it was thanks to 2 big 3-point shots he hit late in the game. He's been terrible from 3 this season, but he hit them when he had. And then also a couple free throws at the end of the game. So like I said, I'm going to take the under here on this live bet with Jimmy Butler. I wanted to jump right into this so you guys could take this while it's live before the lines start changing a little bit. I think it's still a decently high line for him. And again, Butler only about 4 points right now. And this is something I discuss a lot in the show. Everybody knows this. The Miami Heat, they just have so many different guys that can handle the ball. So much depth, so many areas where the ball can go. Obviously, Butler is one of the top priorities. But like I said, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to make that line. So I am going to take the under 19.5 points, Jimmy Butler. And as I just said that, he actually just missed a free throw. So I was holding my breath there a little bit. So that's good to know. It was actually a technical foul, too. Also, Heat are up 5. If they pull away in this game, they're up 44-39 right now. 2 minutes and change left in the second quarter. If they start pulling away a lot, they might take him out of that game. So, Jimmy Butler, I like him a lot as that live bet. But, as I said, I jumped into that segment very quickly. Just want to remind you guys, you're listening to Pick and Pop Player Props. I'm your host, Jimmy Scalia. Promo code Scalia for BetQL.com. SCALIA. Use the promo code. You get 20% off a BetQL account where you get the best sports betting data on the planet. Perfect time for NHL and NBA playoffs right now. Guys, got to sign up. Get your bets in. Listen to the show. I want to thank everybody for listening to it. I want to thank BetQL for giving me the platform for this. And, yeah, no, I'm excited. I mean, this is, a 4th day of playoffs going on right now, and I'm sure this Heat Pacers game will give us some more fireworks down the stretch as we get a little closer to halftime. Duncan Robinson just hit another 3. That's his 5th of the game. So I hope you took the over for 3-pointers for that one because he is on fire right now. But anyway, like I said, one more time, guys, promo code Scalia, SCALIA. If you want to sign up to an account and get 20% off, get the best sports betting data, it is not a bad bet. So we're going to actually continue and move on. We'll get back to nothing but the net. Had to throw the little spin on you with nothing but the ... Nah, not really. But I'm going to go back to why him, the one I usually start off with. And this is Kyle Kuzma of the Los Angeles Lakers. That's right. Guy rattled off 14 points 2 days ago against the Portland Trail Blazers. And Kyle Kuzma take a look at it. He's pretty much the number 3 scoring option that the team has outside of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. And Anthony Davis struggled at some points in that game against Portland. LeBron obviously had a great triple-double stat line, but here's the thing. I like Kuzma's line of over 1.5 3-point field goals, and here's why. Someone I'm also going to get to later in this show. I'm going to talk about the Lakers' depth at least. The Lakers' depth has been struggling. We saw that against the Portland Trailblazers. And like I said, Kuzma has been hanging out there. He took 5 3-point attempts last time against the Portland Trailblazers. So that's 5 shots from downtown. The volume is there. And I feel like he has, even though the Lakers haven't been playing that well in the bubble, I think he has played decently well, at least offensively scoring. So I think that Kuzma would definitely be able to get those opportunities behind the 3-point line. And like I've said before, with Portland Trailblazers defense, they don't have much of a defensive presence within their backcourt. Most of it is in front court with guys like Hassan Whiteside and Nurkic. So like I said, not totally sure about their ability to defend Kuzma on the perimeter in those situations like that. So that's why I like Kuzma in those situations. And like I said, this guy had 0 assists. So you take a look at that too. He's not going to be looking to pass the ball as much. He's going to be looking to score. So if he's alone in the wing, he will take that shot. He will do that. So that's why I like Kyle Kuzma, for why him is the most productive scorer outside of LeBron and Anthony Davis. So I really like that from Kuzma. So now we will get to nothing but the net. These are the locks that I always have. So I just wanted to throw the nothing but the nah out there first. Had to get to Jimmy Butler. And like I said, I'll throw it up one more time. It's a live bet right now. Jimmy Butler under 19.5 points. DraftKings 106 last time I checked. So I think I'm not sure if he'll be able to finish with that total, but we will see. Now back at it. Nothing but the net. LeBron, the GOAT, for as many people think he is the GOAT, although I think Michael Jordan, that's another discussion for another time. The GOAT of our era, LeBron James. I'm going to go with him over 29.5 points on DraftKings, minus 121 odds. I really like this matchup for LeBron. As I talked about, Trailblazers defense struggles a lot, and LeBron played so well in game 1. Obviously had 23 points, 17 rebounds, and about 16 assists. That was a playoff career high for him in assists. But here's a problem. They lost the game. So does LeBron really trust those guys outside to make those big shots now? It is a pivotal game, too. They can't go down 2-0 against this hot Portland Trailblazers team. So for this situation right here, I think if LeBron, I think he might end up getting more aggressive in some circumstances. He could take a lot of those guys to the rim. There were plenty of times that, don't get me wrong, I have all respect in the world for Gary Trent Jr. He's a great shooter, but him guarding LeBron James is a clear mismatch. And I think LeBron has to start taking advantage of those opportunities where he's matched up one-on-one with him, taking him to the rim. That's what he's got to do. That's what he's got to attack to do. So, that's the thing. He's a great team player, LeBron, but he might think to himself this game, he has to put a little more of the burden on his shoulders regarding scoring. He's a great passer, but those other guys are not necessarily knocking down those shots right now. So that's why I like this line of 29.5. And think about it. He had 16 assists. He still had 23 points against the Lakers with the 16 assists. So obviously a fabulous game from LeBron James. Everybody expected him, to rattle off performances like this against the Portland Trailblazers. But with the line of 29.5, look, this is a must-win game right now. They're down 1. They don't want to go down 2-0 in this situation. And yeah, I think he's going to come out more aggressive. I think that's what he should do. And again, matchups with Gary Trent Jr., even matchups with Carmelo Anthony. I'm not sure if these guys can really stick with him. It's hard for anybody in the NBA to stick with LeBron James, let alone a player on the Portland Trailblazers. So that's why I really like his line of 29.5. I think he could rattle off a big game for about 30 or more. And a lot of that will be in, attacking the rim, drawing fouls, maybe a couple N1s, and he will take a couple threes as well in the game. So, like I said, I think LeBron James is good for that. Before I move on to the next segment, just want to let everybody know BetQL has the Thunder and the Rockets as the free game of the day. So, guys, if you don't have a BetQL account, you want to log on there. If you don't have one, definitely sign up for an account. But if you're on the website and you don't have an account, you can check out the free game, get all of your data you need to for today's action between the Thunder and the Rockets at 4 o'clock. So you're definitely going to want to check that out for sure. Big game between these two teams. And free game for BetQL. You get a bunch of data. You get the matchup grades. You get everything you need for these games. I'm really excited for that one. I want to see the Rockets will come out with a 1-0 lead at the moment. And, I think that they're a team that, even though they're doing the small ball thing right now, things could maybe work out in their favor if they continue to play this well. Because think about it, Russell Westbrook is still out. So once they get him back in the lineup, that could be a great thing for them. So free game right now. Rockets are projected to win, as BetQL is projected on here. Matchup grade, Rockets matchup a little better as well. And as we're talking about a couple Houston Rockets, let's go to keep an eye on. That's Eric Gordon of the Houston Rockets. And as BetQL has on here, an A+ starters grade against a D starters grade in the Oklahoma City Thunder. And the Houston Rockets also have an advantage in offense, an A- offensive grade against an A defense grade in the Oklahoma City Thunder. And like I said, Oklahoma City Thunder also have a B- offense grade. So the Houston Rockets, according to BetQL, looks good for this Game 2 matchup. And Eric Gordon, I like, is someone to keep an eye on. If you want to take a chance on this bet, it's something that you're not going to want to bet too heavy on. But I think it's, like I said, keep an eye on it, see what happens before the game. But this is the thing I like a lot. Westbrook's still out, and Gordon really emerged as that second option, basically, for James Harden in that situation. Because if you look at it, Eric Gordon finished with 21 points in the last game that they played. He was 2 of 6 from 3, and he's the guy who could score inside the paint and from the perimeter as well. He's kind of a two-way player. So, look, Harden had 11 assists the last time in Game 1. So you take a look at this here. It's going to be looking for other guys to get involved. He's doing his part of passing, even though it is still the playoffs, and we know how much Harden can take control of a game. But Gordon has come back after suffering that ankle injury in the preseason games within the bubble. So I think this line of 17.5, definitely doable. Like I said, scored 21 in Game 1, and if he is this good of a two-way player, he will get those looks that, because Westbrook isn't there, and if some guys aren't knocking in those threes, he's going to be the one really driving to the rim, really putting the pressure on the defense in these situations. So that's why I like Eric Gordon. This is on DraftKings as well, minus 143 odds. So you could include it in a parlay potentially. But yeah, no, I like Eric Gordon in the situation against the Oklahoma City Thunder, who looked pretty lost in Game 1. A lot of people picked them as an underdog upset. I thought they would have had a better chance than that. But the Houston Rockets, it was just too much scoring for the Thunder to keep up with. And this is another situation why Rockets could be looking to just put their put their foot to the pedal and really just take advantage of this series. And I think Gordon could be a big beneficiary of this Game 2 matchup. So that's why I like keep an eye on Eric Gordon. And like I said before, guys, don't forget, it's also the free game, Thunder, Rockets. Check it out. It's going to be a great game, and get all the stats you need to on BetQL.com. That being said, we'll move on to the 6 o'clock window game, and that's the Milwaukee Bucks and the Orlando Magic. And guess who is a bounce-back baller for that? Chris Middleton. They gave him an average line of about 21.5 points for this matchup against the Magic. Now, as we know, the Magic took Game 1 of the series, and I really like Middleton as this performer to come back. It's on DraftKings right now, minus 121 odds. Coming off a loss in Game 1, pretty much invisible performance from Middleton. Only had about 14 points. Yeah, you didn't hear much from him. He didn't do too much. Giannis was pretty much the one that dominated all game. But I think he's a great candidate to come back in this circumstance. Team knows they need him. He's probably the best shooter they have on the team outside of Kyle Korver, but Korver doesn't get those as many minutes as Middleton. Middleton is pretty much their second best scorer on the team. So I like this circumstance of over 21.5 against a team like the Orlando Magic in this situation. Like I said, they need game 2 right now. And obviously, as we saw, they know Giannis can't do it all by himself. He had a great game, nearly had a triple-double, but it didn't happen, and they lost the game. So not only do they have to prove defensively, but offensively too. They got to look to Middleton. They got to look to these other guys. Spread the ball around, make some big-time shots. And that's why I like Middleton for this too. Usually his points, rebounds, assists is a good one. That's always hovering around 32 to 34. And this situation, I just like the points here, the 21.5. I think it can bounce back from kind of that pedestrian effort he had in Game 1 against Orlando Magic. So that's why I'm going to go with Chris Middleton as the bounce-back baller of the day. Moving on, we're actually going to stay in Milwaukee. Are you feeling risky? Because I was looking at this game as well, and I was taking a look and seeing what crazy odds can happen with these. Didn't like the point scores, didn't like a lot of these, but I did see Giannis Antetokounmpo to have a triple-double against the Orlando Magic in Game 2. So you take a look at that. DraftKings has plus 600 odds. That's really not bad odds to bet on for this guy who pretty much had one the last game they played. And like I said, same thing with Middleton. Look, these guys know they have to take Game 2. Game 1, all right, they knocked the rust off, whatever. Underdog Orlando Magic team. They got to come out and perform well in this game. I think the pressure is going to be on Giannis as well, with Middleton and Giannis. Giannis is the leader of the team, so he's going to have the most pressure on him. And like I said, he was just a few assists away from having a triple-double last game. Matches up great against the Orlando Magic right now. And, this is a matchup that odds with plus 600, I really like in this circumstance. I kind of expected this to be a little lower, actually, maybe around the plus 300 category. But when I saw Giannis have a triple-double in the plus 600, I really did like that because obviously, if you watch the Milwaukee Bucks game, he is doing a good amount of passing to those outside shooters like Korver, like a Wesley Matthews, like those guys, and they are taking their shots. So that's the only thing. Those just need to pop in, obviously, in order for him to get the assist. But last game finished with 31 points, 17 rebounds, and 7 assists. So he's 3 assists away from that. So I do like this circumstance in order for him to get a triple-double. I don't think he has gotten one in the bubble yet, but there's a first for everything. And guess what? It's feeling risky. It's kind of feeling risky because I think it's something that's totally within his realm. Didn't expect the odds to be this high in this situation, but hey, it can help you out in the wrong one. So I like Giannis Antetokounmpo to have a triple-double in the feeling risky category here. So, like you said, obviously we went through a bunch of these so far. We went through Kyle Kuzma to have over 1.5 3-point field goals. That was nothing but net. Jimmy Butler, the under 19.5. LeBron James to have 30 points or more in his matchup. Eric Gordon to also have not 21. He just needs to have over 17.5 points. And all these odds are actually on DraftKings right now. That will lead us to the very last one under the backboard. And that brings us to Danny Green of the Los Angeles Lakers. And let me tell you, as a former Spurs supporter, because I'm a big Kawhi Leonard fan, I miss the Danny Green on the Spurs, and I miss the Danny Green that was on the Toronto Raptors. I don't know what has gone on with Danny Green. Something's wrong with him on the Lakers, clearly in the bubble, to say the least. And, he's a player that's always been so consistent from downtown in his career, but he's really struggling in the bubble. Last game in Game 1 against the Portland Trailblazers, he went 4 of 12 from the field. Pretty much inexcusable. Many, many wide open looks from 3, and Green was simply not hitting them. This is the player he's known to be. He has to hit those big-time perimeter shots is what he's known for. So, Danny Green, I'm going to have to take the under on 8.5 points here on DraftKings, minus 110 odds. I know it's not a crazy line, and you usually want to take the overs on these, but I got to stick with the under because I'm not sure how many more minutes he'll play if he continues to miss those shots. Like I said, I like Kyle Kuzma much better as an offensive contributor compared to Danny Green right now at this moment. And like I said, he did finish with 10 points against Portland. But he took 12 shots, only hit 4 of them. That's a third. So, yeah, I'm not sure how many minutes he's going to get. And like I said, Kuzma has the hot hand over him. And I don't know if he'll get the same opportunities in this stretch with the struggles he's had. And, of course, according to what I'm projecting out today, too, LeBron James, I think he'll have a big game of 30 points. So maybe he will hesitate a little bit to give it to Danny Green. Maybe in those situations where they need a bucket, he will drive on that Gary Trent Jr. matchup instead of dishing out to Danny Green and Danny Green to get those opportunities within those games. So, Danny Green, the Los Angeles Lakers. Sorry, Danny. I'm going to have to take the under on you. 8.5 points, even against a bad defense in the Portland Trailblazers. That'll do it for the show today, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed listening in. Perfect time, right in halftime of the Miami Heat game where they still lead that against the Pacers. They'll be looking to go up 2-0. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the games today. Don't forget, one of those games is in the Rockets. That's a free game on BetQL. You're going to want to check that out. Get a bunch of sports betting data for yourself. If you like it a lot, sign up to an account. Use the promo code Scalia, SCALIA. You get 20% off a BetQL account. You can get the best sports betting data on the planet. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening to the show today. Hope everybody has a great day. I'm excited to watch the rest of these NBA playoffs. And the big game tonight, obviously, the Lakers and the Blazers. Will the Blazers go up 2-0? That would be pretty crazy. It could be possible, though. But I don't know. I'm leaning a little towards Los Angeles tying up the series. We need playoff Bron to come out, and I think it's going to be tonight. So don't forget the nothing but the net bet for him to get 30 points. Bet on that, and it's a lock. Thanks again, guys, for listening, and take care.